Got a random pup coming. Dude, was that a wolf? Is that 1d4 wolves right now? The best way to become better at anything is to just do it and learn from your mistakes. That's part of the reason that I'm out here testing some new microphones for fun, and why I asked you. What's the question I asked you? If you could give some RPG advice to yourself as a first-time player or GM, what would you say? And for context, here's the picture I posted with it, because some people reference it in the comments, of which there were like 180. So we are gonna check out the best and worst advice in here, because I'm Bob. This is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together. And we're gonna start with the least popular comments all the way at the bottom. So let's see here. It's what's best in life. RPGs are definitely way up there. My go-to phrase even used to be, it's the most fun you can have with your friends indoors, which is kind of fitting for this filming scenario. WotC hates Marshall, but play a wizard Bladesinger. Bladesingers are pretty dang fun, so I think that's solid advice.
Yes, do it.
Nah, generally play what you want to play, and especially for new players who are sometimes told to not play spellcasters, just try out a wizard Bladesinger, you're probably gonna have a good time. Buy Bitcoin. Okay, this is a good test for these microphones. Can you hear this train that is not very close, but still very loud? Okay, this one is humorous, but also really good advice. Don't play with assholes. Play with your friends, play with your family. You might not think they'd be into it, but sometimes you'll be surprised, and even if your friends or family end up playing like an asshole, then don't play with them and find a group online. It's easier than ever. There's really no reason to waste your time playing with jerks when you could be having a great time playing these games. And perhaps related, don't invite Terry. I hate Fireball. That's not even advice. Moving on. All right, how about this one? Don't try to be funny as the GM. Comedy is best when one side is completely serious and there's no way the collective party will ever take on that role. And my gut reaction to this is like, no way, be funny, laugh a lot. This game is a make-believe with some dice and you're like playing elves and stuff. It's goofy. But you really don't need to force it because the jokes are just gonna come out of every situation. You know, you don't need to try to be the literal comedians on Dropout TV's Dimension 20. Maybe the classic advice of just be yourself is really what applies here. Now in all caps, for the love of God, read the bleepin' rules. But my whole first campaign, whole year plus-ish of playing Dungeons & Dragons in heavy air quotes, my GM had the 5e Player's Handbook. The players had a mix of 5e and 3.5 and 3rd edition character sheets because none of us had any idea what we were doing. And we all had a great time. That's what got me hooked on the game, not knowing the rules and just making it up as we went along. Don't try to control outcomes. Yes, one of my big mistakes early on, I had an NPC druid villain who I really wanted to escape at the end of this adventure, but the party totally chased them down, or should have been able to chase them down, but I really fudged some stuff so they could get away the way that I had planned it, but it would have probably been more fun for all of us, even me with this unexpected outcome, if I just went with it. Hi there. And don't be a stereotype. You'll have a lot more fun not being a tiefling bard. Once again, I gotta disagree a little bit. Cliches are cliches for a reason. Like, dumb barbarians are fun to play. That's one of my favorite things.
Come to find my friends and save the world!
Ooh. I just think back to the Bladesinger guy's advice, just play what you want to play, and you're gonna have more fun that way. Freaking train is back. All right, now it's time for me to interject with a piece of advice to my beginner self that I was surprised to see nobody else even mentioned this topic, even came close to it. So, Bob, you've been playing D&D for a couple months now. You're going to play RPGs like this forever. And you'll save so much time if instead of everyone passing around the GM's one set of dice, you just get your own dang set of dice. We seriously played that way for a year, and let's be honest, you can never really have too many sets of dice. At least that's what Grace World Destroyer keeps telling me, especially around this time of year. So it's high time that we visit our friends at Only Crits. They got sharp edge dice, dice with little figurines inside, metal dice, hollow dice, stone dice, dice cases and trays, like this one that Grace got years ago, practically filled with only crits dice. I'm trying to do a sponsor read here. They also offer a mystery box subscription for dice, and this Black Friday you can save a wild 35% on the first month with code MysteryBox35 and 20% on everything from the Only Crit store. Or any time of year, you can save 18% and support this channel and Grace World Destroyer's dice collection by using the affiliate code BWB through the link below. Okay, now totally unrelated to everything thus far, I just have to show you this. It's gotta be an entrance to a dungeon, right? Like the GM clearly wants us to go in there, but not today. Oh man, almost lost the microphone. Learn by doing. Perfect. That was like the premise of this whole video. Characters aren't good at everything. Don't try to build to succeed at it all. Your party is there to help you. Cooperate, share the spotlight. You've heard these things before, but these reminders are really important. Multi-class combinations are not created equal. That's probably the case, but there are whole other YouTube channels devoted to that, so I don't need to talk about it here. Didn't see who posted this at first and thought it referred to the whiskey. Fireball. Alright, these people definitely have the vibe. Relax and remember it's just a game. Screw around and ask if you have a bonus action. Asking your GM is usually the best way to get anything done. Don't just try to like plan stuff sort of behind their back. You know, tell them what you want to do and they're there to help you accomplish it. Random tables are your best friend. Yeah, get a table of random NPC names because that's one of my best pieces of advice. And this is a very important one. Be honest with your players when you don't know what you're doing. For the entire month of October this year, each week I ran a different RPG, I think only one of which I had run before. And I told my players, hey, I don't know what's going on here. We're just gonna have fun. And guess what? We had fun. And what the heck? Here's another Fireball hater, man. Pick something more interesting than Fireball? That means it's time to move on. All right, how do I get down from here? All right, and I totally just passed a random guy like way off the trail, like saw him just wandering through the woods. So I think we're on like 2 random encounters today already. 3 if the train counts. As a GM, use modules. I do think this is good advice. I kicked off my first long campaign with a couple modules interspersed in a small homebrew setting, and it was perfect. Like, it could not have gone better. A good module can save you a lot of time. And by that I mostly mean a small one that you can read quickly, take notes on, and know the general story and what the players are going to encounter, how to tailor it to your group a little bit. Don't play with that person, otherwise you'll be fine. Are they also talking about Terry? Ayo, start at level 0, try to survive a DCC funnel. If you are interested in trying out DCC, I definitely recommend doing a level 0 funnel first. It's a very different experience, one of those where you don't need to try to be funny. It's gonna be a great time on its own. And more hate for Fireball. Hypnotic pattern is greater. All right, I don't need to read this anti-Fireball propaganda. What the heck? Never take Fireball. It's powerful but basic. Dude. People like Fireball, right? I'm not alone here. That's another example of a good cliche. Fireball's awesome. Don't be so quick to dismiss games with cinematic playstyles. There's more to gaming than strategic play. I agree. I think a lot of people are still steering away from these D6 systems that only have a couple stats and rely mostly on your imagination. Candela Obscura was even one of the games that I ran almost totally off the cuff this October, and my group loved it. Oh, got a random pup coming over here. Go to your, oh boy. Dude, was that a wolf? Is that 1d4 wolves right now? Hey there. No problem. Seems friendly. Okay, and this next one might actually be perfect for that random encounter. Play with strangers. They don't stay that way, and it's so much fun. It's one of those experiences where you learn a lot really fast because you learn about just how totally random other people play the game. At the very least, you're gonna pick up things that you don't want to have in your own game. Time to get to some of the more popular comments here. Play other TTRPG games. Just like playing with other people, you will pick up new ideas that you can pull back into your game of choice, whatever it may be. Wow, very practical tip. Keep session notes. We've finally started doing this. Wish to the gods I had more than vague memories of our adventures and campaigns from the past 4 decades. Yeah, I feel very blessed and lucky that myself or my GM, I really don't know who started it, but we kept a Google Doc of our very first campaign where we had no idea what we were doing in, so we get to look back on that from time to time, and it's just really great to have that. Hey Bob and Grace, a lot of GM tips center around efficiency. There are always tips for prepping as quickly as possible, taking minimalist notes, and replacing dice rolls with flat numbers. But I've found that doing things as efficiently as possible often takes the carefree, fun feeling out of GM prep for me. That artificial time limit for everything makes my hobby feel like work, so I meander more than most GMs when I prep sessions, but gosh darn it, I'm having fun doing it. This is a good tip, but it is something that's going to be different for everybody because I will fill whatever block of time I have to do something, but having some kind of structure to your prep goes a long way. Let the players tell the story too. It's a group game and the best memories are from when the DM can put down the reins and let themselves go along for the ride. Totally, the more that I've leaned into sitting back and not talking, just letting the players kind of converse amongst themselves and letting random tables just do the work, trusting the dice, it's been a lot easier to GM and you have a lot more fun when you don't know what's going to happen next. At least that's been my experience. With 75 likes, basing a character on aspects of yourself is fine, but if you're going through a rough patch, don't pull from your current struggles to build a character. You've got enough trouble with whatever that is already. Instead, pull from things you've already been through and overcome. This will allow you to do both roleplay and combat with a clear head and keep the game more fun for you and others. That is a pro tip, my friend. You see more and more these days people talking about the way that D&D or other RPGs can be therapeutic. But this is a great point, that if you overlay a current harsh struggle onto a character you're playing, then your game time ends up being like your therapy time, and ultimately that probably won't be fun for you or other people. So having a character combat things that you've already overcome, that makes a lot of sense to me. And the number 1 tip, not everyone will fall in love with the game like you did, and that's okay. Play with those who actually want to play. Except Terry. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like, share it with your game group, share it with the new players in your life, and check out this video on your screen for more community advice about character creation. And as always, consider joining Patreon to support what I do directly, but however you can support right now, thank you, and keep building.